Hey up, welcome to the Cannon Farm podcast. With us, the Nicholson brothers, farmers Rob and Dave.
We're two Yorkshire farmers who, along with our dad Roger, brother Rich and the rest of our family, have turned a farm with 2 sheds and a barn into an award-winning tourist attraction.
You've seen us on the telly, live on Facebook, and now we've got our very own podcast.
We've done this before, and it's time now to answer your questions again.
Coming up.
What about Richard though? Did he have his... I remember him once peeing on the carpet for attention.
Didn't he once pee into my dad's welly?
Yeah.
That could have been pleasant for my dad.
Well, it once it we're only last week and it took him ages to try it out. Right, Dave, another episode of questions and answers. Now, last time, I seem to remember you said you wanted to be a killer whale.
I seem to remember that as well. I'm partial to a penguin.
Do you like to pick up a penguin?
I certainly do. And that's probably why I picked a killer whale.
Some of the supporters send us in some really wonderful questions. These guys have absolutely got our back. They know more about us than we know about ourselves, and we would be lost without them. The supporters group is the heartbeat of the farm.
I mean, they're such a positive bunch, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, they're there when we need them, and in return, we try and go live with every birth we possibly can without embargoing the TV stuff. I know they found that a little bit frustrating in the past because we were making that much telly for the TV, and they were going, "What's that new animal in the corner?" Well, we can't talk about that. That was a little bit frustrating at times.
I think the caption competitions that they run, the camaraderie, the friendship groups that have built up within the supporters community, I think they're all heartwarming things, and they're just full of fun. Seeing them when they visit the farm, they all celebrate each other's birthday, which is really lovely, and it's just a family within the farm family. So we're really chuffed to have them, and certainly every competition that we've ever managed to do well in, I would say, is down to supporters sharing news, sharing positivity around voting, and making sure that we do really well.
100%. Yeah, they've got our backs, and we do appreciate it.
So, questions from supporters. Here we go.
Right, fire away then.
Right, Dave, our wonderful supporters have been sending in more brilliant questions. This one's from Mandy. Now then, where did you both get married?
I got married in Jamaica on the beach, and it were on my 24th birthday. It wasn't set up for that. It's just we were there, and they said, "This is the day you're getting married," and I got married on my birthday. So I have never forgotten my wedding anniversary.
Wonderful. Well, that's hard to beat. I got married when I was 20 years old. You were there. It was basically giving out hymn books in church. It was Patrick Brompton Church in North Yorkshire near Beedale. David's job was to give out hymn books, and he got nervous, so nervous that he had to have 3 pints, one after the other, to give him Dutch courage to hand out the hymn book.
Oh, it was nerve-wracking time.
Poor old me, 20-year-old, getting married, right? I did have a cheeky pint though, but wonderful day.
It was.
Reception at Catterick Bridge Hotel.
Yeah.
All the family came down. I think they got a coach.
Oh, it was a big event. I mean, there was a lot there at the wedding, weren't there?
Yeah.
My gran were late for the wedding because there were horse loose on motorway.
Something like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
See, I want that drunk.
She walked into the church, didn't she, saying, "There's a horse on the motorway." It was a magical day. Obviously, one I'll never forget, and it was 35 years ago, so 20 years old. A big step, but I knew it was the right thing to do, and we've never looked back.
Well, 30 years with me, and same thing, Rob. We married the right people at the right time, and we were both young, but didn't seem to matter.
No, it seemed right, and it's worked a treat. Right, thank you, Mandy, for that. Some lovely memories to think back on. Next one from Hazel. If you could change one thing about the farm, what would you change and why?
That's a good question. The White Bull, I'd like to refurb it a little bit inside, a few more booths, give it a bit more farmy character, and perhaps, if I could, a bigger bar.
I think, and these things are in our gift. You know, we're lucky enough to be able to change things. I would like more grazing paddocks for the livestock in the vicinity of the farm, because I think sometimes it's a headache to get everything out that you want to get out in the summer without conflicting with one another.
Yeah.
So more grazing paddocks and more accommodation for wintertime. Wintertime is a headache. You can't always do everything that you want to do in terms of giving everything the space that you'd really like to. So a couple more roundhouses, some more grazing paddocks.
And frosted glasses behind the bar.
Frosted glasses behind the bar, and we'd all be happy. Yeah. That was from Hazel. Thank you, Hazel. The next question from Louis. Which animal at Cannon Hall Farm is your favourite and why?
I'm going to go Ted the Highland Bull. Right, we've done a lot of shows together. He's run me ragged around a few showgrounds, but he's a lot better these days. You know, he's a lot better at standing. But saying that, he's been in Scotland for a good year. He might come back wild.
He might have learnt some bad habits.
He might have done.
Yeah. I think I'd have to say Pip and Dora. Pip, the sheepdog, Dora, my Labrador. And I think there's a special connection with dogs, you know, that's hard to beat with most other animals. So I love them. I think they've got really lovely natures. In terms of the farm animals, Helen the alpaca, I share a special bond with. You know, we reared her when it was easier, would have been easier to lose her than to succeed. So that was a special moment. And the Shire horses, who's my favourite horse? Sapphire.
Right, but Rob, she did ask for one. You've gone through nearly every animal in the farm there.
Yeah.
I was thinking, as breeds go, Shire horses are very special to me. I like the Highland cattle because they're, you know, especially the bulls, a bit rugged and Dutch spotted sheep. As a breed, that's my favourite breed of sheep.
Lovely question. Thank you very much there to Louis. Elizabeth next. What is your favourite job on the farm? I know what yours is.
Driving the JCB.
Exactly.
There's lots of jobs you can do with it, though. I do enjoy, you know, when we're building something, and I get involved with the builders. You know, you're moving the steel around.
You don't enjoy getting involved.
No, I
with
do.
The builders.
I do when I'm working alongside them. It's when I can't see them and they do stuff.
It's a love-hate relationship,
and
you will love to hate them.
No, I don't. I really like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do what they're supposed to do.
Right. So the question is, what favourite job on the farm? Oh, goodness me. Favourite job. I quite enjoyed that bit of tractoring I've done recently because it was a different perspective. Being out there in the fields.
Yeah.
And just seeing the land from a different angle. It's a long time since I've done that. But I'm definitely a livestock person. You can't beat new arrivals, can you? So I think helping something give birth successfully is always a lovely thing. And rearing the unrearable. You know, there's always something about succeeding when you're up against it. Like those little lambs of Farmer Joe's. Can you remember a couple of years ago?
They had everything going wrong. And we pulled them back, didn't we? Yeah, we really did.
And that was a moment of triumph because all I could think about was how disappointed he'd be if they didn't make it. He'd entrusted those sheep to us to deliver and look after, and we needed to win, and thankfully we did.
We don't always win. You know, you've got to... Yeah, so when you win, it's really important to you because you've had some bad losses. So, you know, with Poppy and the Shire horse and that kind of thing.
You need to celebrate the victories because they don't always come along that often.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right, next question from Ria. What was the best advice you ever got?
Well, I don't think it's advice as such that I'm thinking about now, but every time the vets come into the farmyard, I always watch what they do. You know, at one time we had a Highland calf born and they put water in its ear and that perked it up straight away. So I watch the professionals and then when I'm by myself, I know exactly what to do.
Excellent. Well, in terms of advice, Peter Wright once told us, didn't he? And we've referenced it before on the podcast, that if people want a word with you, absolutely give them your best, because it is humbling. It's an honour that people want to say hello, and we would always want to reciprocate and spend time with them. The other thing I would say, my dad once said to me, find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Did he actually say that?
100%. Right? And that's what I've done. Found a job I love, and I never feel like I'm working. The other one, you once told me as well, and I've never forgotten this, never eat yellow snow. And I've managed to stick to that.
I think it was something about in the wind. But anyway, we'll leave that there.
Right, thank you, Ria. Next one from Danielle. Who was the naughty one out of the three?
That is so easy. It was you.
Me?
Yeah. Mum always said you were an handful.
Yeah.
You know, I was the good one, because third one, you just left to your own devices, aren't you? Or your brothers to look after you a bit.
I think I was a bit naughty, but willful.
Yeah.
You know, determined. My dad said he could never get me to sleep very easily. I was always fighting to stay awake because I didn't want to miss a moment.
That's it.
And I sort of get that. And I did used to love spending time with him. I remember when he used to leave the yard on the tractor to go and do some jobs, I remember feeling disappointed, and why is he leaving me, and why won't he play football with me, and all those things.
Really?
Yeah, so...
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll claim that honour, the naughtiest of the three.
Yeah.
What about Richard, though? What did he have his... I remember him once peeing on the carpet for attention.
Didn't he once pee into my dad's welly?
Yeah.
That could have been pleasant for my dad.
Well, it won't, because it were only last week, and it took him ages to try it out. Right, that was from Danielle. Thank you, Danielle. The next one from Tracy. What are the Christmases like at Cannon Hall Farm? Do you take it in turns to who does the Christmas dinner, then swap for the following year?
Well, I suppose we've moved into the White Bull now a bit, because it's that busy, isn't it? And we've had a bit of a transition as well with COVID, where we all had Christmas dinner in our own houses. So it's nice to get back to normal, really.
Well, that one a few years ago, when the restrictions were at the height, and literally we're lucky enough, as you know, to live next door to Mum and Dad, and they were in their porch, which adjoins our house. Julie and I were outside on a table outside, and then Julie's parents were in our porch. So we were in three separate areas to observe the rules, having dinner in the same proximity, being able to shout to each other, and we were obviously serving up and passing it through the thing. So it all seems unbelievable now, doesn't it, that we went to such trouble.
Well, I suppose as well, the older you are, the more vulnerable you were.
Yeah.
So that's why it was really important to keep your distance.
But now, like you say, the joyous occasions, it's a day I obviously look forward to. It's a day I enjoy very much. It feels like the culmination of a very busy period, because in the farm shop, it's full on. The Christmas experience around the farm is full on. And then to get that day when the gates are closed, the animals still need feeding, but we're incredibly lucky that some of our team always seem to come in and volunteer, don't they? And and get stuck in and get that job done. So we're very grateful and very lucky for that. So Christmas Day is a special day, and like you say, at the moment, we seem to gather in the White Bull. We've got beer on tap. We've got access to all the ovens. The chefs leave me a little video as to how to work the ovens, because it's like starting a Ferrari, a Formula One car. The complicated things, they're all digital, and it's not just a knob that you turn one way and another.
And again, you can get the perfect turkey, because the probes, the ovens are perfect for cooking that kind of thing. So we are quite fortunate.
Christmas is a special day. Right, Angela, I keep hearing more and more about plant-based products. Hopefully there's room for both. However, do you worry about the future of traditional farming?
Well, I don't actually, because traditional farming is animals and growing crops on the farm. And that's what it should be, because the animals produce the manure. The manure goes onto the land, which feed the soil and keeps the soil alive. If you just grew wheat crops or whatever, one after the other, without putting farm manure on, you get soil that is dead.
Animals and plants have a symbiotic relationship, don't they? One needs the other. There's a bit of a clue here. Meat and two veg.
Yeah.
right? Vegetables are absolutely great, but we think that livestock farming, alongside a healthy plant-based diet,
Exactly.
can work a treat for everyone, for nature, for us, for the animals, and for the planet. So yeah, we firmly believe that can be done.
I can't speak for other countries, Rob, but traditional farming, like we do, is really good for the countryside.
Right, the next question is from Fee. If you were going to sit in a field and watch the world go by, which field would you be in and why?
And it's got to be one of our fields.
Oh, don't say Spain. Come on.
I'm not going to say Spain, because that'd be on a beach. No, seriously, I'd go down at the mill, one of the fields near the river, or the little stream, and you can watch the trout rising, and you can sometimes see a kingfisher down there. It's got some lovely, lovely features.
I would say the banking at Mill Farm, where all my dogs are buried, right, and I plant a tree in their memory, would be the place I would sit, reflect, and remember them.
Similar place then.
Right, Dave, next question from Penny. Is it difficult to reside within your work environment? I think, is it difficult to live on the job?
It can be, because the job never ends. But it's really good in winter at lambing time when you're going up there. It's close. If a shire horse is giving birth or something like that, Rob, you can be there within 2 minutes. So I wouldn't change a thing, but it can be at times.
I would turn it round and I'd say it's impossible not to live on the job. To offer the level of care that we aspire to do and to be there when needed, we need to be here. I love living here. I very much like the house I live in. I very much like the surroundings. And I've learned to love it more all the time. You know, I've never felt more at home and at peace on the farm. And I can't imagine living anywhere else. So for me, not difficult at all, and an absolute privilege. And that's from Penny. Thank you, Penny. And then the next one from, it's either Cheryl or Cheryl.
Let's say Cheryl.
Thank you for the question, Cheryl. It is, are there any animals that you are scared of?
I wasn't a big fan of spiders growing up. It's not really an animal, is it? It's an insect. I'm not wild rats, as in they can be a little bit, when they run out, they can make you jump.
Are there any farm animals you're scared of?
No.
Nothing.
No. You can't be.
Respectful of?
Yeah, very respectful. You know, if you show fear, when you're dealing with big animals, they can sense it. You know, you've got to be strong, you've got to stand up, and you've got to do the job.
So even if you are a little bit scared in your tummy, you've got to bluff it out.
Exactly. You know, it's like this, Rob. Cows calved, they're very protective. You need to spray that navel. And you know that there's a good chance that cow's going to go for you a little bit. And you try your best to be sneaky, give her a bit of food, take her mind off it, spray the navel and get out of there quick.
There is an element, isn't there, where you know there's a danger to something.
Yeah.
But as a livestock farmer and a custodian of that animal, you know you've sort of got to find a way. And the clever bit is finding a way whilst keeping yourself safe, the animal safe, and the newborn animal safe. So yeah, I think always be a little bit afraid of new mums, you know, because they react differently to how they would normally. And you do see people, when an animal's in a new environment, say if it's gone to a show or gone to a market or something like that, they can act differently to how they would on the farm. And sometimes people are caught out by that.
Well, I have seen it at the Yorkshire Show. Someone opened an umbrella.
Yeah.
This Limousin bull went straight up in the air. The owner tried holding on to it. I mean, he did a good job, but he went to hospital. He was bruised and battered.
Say he disappeared over panel or
well,
something like that.
He held on for a long time, but it got away from him eventually.
Right.
And that's all down to an animal that's just got startled. And, you know, when they're stressed, they can be dangerous.
What about ferrets? What about snakes? Are you comfortable around them?
Definitely ferrets. You know, there's a way of picking them up where you're not going to get bitten. And snakes, I haven't had a lot to deal with them, but if a professional's there and they say it's safe to handle, I haven't got a problem.
So, very good question. I think new mothers frighten me. That's what I would say. Be very respectful of a cow that's just calved.
Yeah.
Sometimes a tup. You know, you've got to be careful around those. They can be aggressive.
Oh, they can give you a belt.
You turn your back on them, and as we both know, more people are killed by rams than by bulls.
Yeah.
So they need to be, taken account of. So yeah, great question. Thank you very much. And that brings an end to that series of questions, Dave.
Right. Do you have any questions, Rob?
Have
you have one for me, and I'll have one for you.
No, not really.
Well, that's that then.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Cannon Hall Farm podcast.
We release episodes every Thursday on your podcast provider, so why not give us a follow?
If you want to become a supporter and then you could be asking the questions, head to Cannon Hall Farm's Facebook page and click subscribe.
We'll be back next time, so make sure you join us.
Until then, I've been Farmer Rob.
And I've been Farmer Dave.
See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You didn't have a question for me?
I know everything about you.
I suppose we have lived together and all these years we've worked together.
Are your hemorrhoids really cured?